Good morning everybody. What we're going to do this morning is go through some of the items that I've used on this trip. So first of all, smart wool liner socks. I like to wear those in camp, in bed. This old Rab vaporized hat, it's kind of got a little bit of warmth to it. It's got a peak, so it helps keep any errant sun out. And of course you can raise up the sides, a little bit if necessary. I did use, because there have been midges around, I did use the MLD inner fitted for the Trailstar, and I found that I can open the door, and if there aren't too many midges available, and if there aren't too many midges around, I can kind of lower it to one side with the door this side, and then I can do whatever I need to do. And then if the midges become too much of a problem, then I can raise it up and do the door up. And I found that actually to be quite an efficient way of doing things. The only thing is, I think Ron's being quite generous with the with the size of it, and you have to have the Trailstar pitched not high, but at a high enough to get it tight. And what I found is on a low pitch, if it's raining or windy, you can't get it high enough. So if you have a bit of bungee cord with one of these things, hit a little clip thing and a carabiner there, and then if you kind of thread that over the top, and then maybe if you kind of do a twisty thing on this to try and stop it from slipping, because I did notice it slipped sometimes. So maybe if you kind of do it into a bit of a knot or do something just to hold it in place. But I just put it through there and tightened it up, and then and then up there, and that did pretty well. There have been midges, but thankfully not too many. Like, subscribe, notification, let's keep going. This is a sleeping bag. It's a PhD, Peter Hutchinson Designs sleeping bag. I've had this bag now, probably I've had this one about 10 years now. So this is a design your own creation. You can go on their website and just sort of make your sleeping bag exactly how you want to make it. It is ridiculously expensive, and I think they're even more ridiculously expensive now, but the build quality it's just it really is worth worth the money. I've never had one wet out on me. I've just found them phenomenal. Truly, they are worth paying the premium. This is a 4-degree bag. There's no baffle around the neck because I didn't think it was really necessary, and I went for one baffle over the zip, not two, so they would cut some draft out, but save the weight of two. I went for a full-length zip on this one, for venting and just convenience, because it wouldn't be going down to zero. Well, if it does, you'd survive. Obviously the MLD quilt liner, that's obviously done excellently. I've got a buff, which I always like to carry. Smart wool liner gloves, they're mainly for in camp if it was a bit on the cold side. Icebreaker liner gloves, for the same reason. I didn't actually mean to bring both. Mountain Hardware, these gloves are like really useful, but again, I didn't use. If you notice the Trailstar flapping a bit, that's simply because I've just raised everything up just to give me a bit more room, and I haven't bothered repegging it. I'm not sure what towel that is, but that's basically, you saw Chris's towel in his video that I did with him. That's my towel. I've got this little Rab beanie type hat, which I like to have for daytime use if it's going to be on the cool side. A Rab t-shirt, I think it's like Miko or Coco, so like a coconut t-shirt. It's supposed to be good to help reduce the pong of sweating. This is a very old, and amazingly it still fits me because it's a small, so if you watch my other videos you'll understand what I mean. But this is a Arc'teryx Squamish hoodie. You know, it's packed down, tiny, it's a wind shirt. That's very good. Rohan underwear, a Rohan shirt, which I've had, you know, I even think I even married Sue. That was my first wife before cancer came along. I even think I married her in that particular shirt. So that shirt is potentially nearly, probably over 20 years old. A PhD down jacket, I think it's 150 grams. I think it's marketed as the lightest down jacket in the world. I've used that one a few times this trip, and it's been very good. But again, what I like with the PhD stuff is even the off-the-shelf items, you can still customize them, although just be very careful with the sizing of PhD, because they seem to run on the small side. You know, I can still fit in my small PhD clothing, but it is quite constrictive. And the medium fits me. If you watch that other video on the Alpine jacket, you know, medium fits me, but clearly it's a little bit on the snug side. So, you know, with this one I went large but medium arms, so you can adjust length of the arms and all sorts of things like that. Mountain equipment, I think this is probably Gore-Tex Active. Yeah, so the Gore-Tex Active waterproof trousers. They did fine. They're going to need a good wash. They've been in several bogs. The first day I literally went in to the thigh in bog, and they kept my trousers dry. Trousers only got wet yesterday when I didn't put waterproofs on. Montane Pack Light jacket, that kept me dry yesterday in all day rain. Obviously expedition meals. I didn't know whether the food that I prepared myself, homemade freeze-dried food, would be any good, so you know, I wasn't taking any chance on going hungry, but my food was fine. What you have to be understanding with Cuban fiber things is they don't last forever. ThermaRest NXT mat, that's, I've had, you know, it's new. Thank you to ThermaRest for sending that, and thank you for PhD for sending the jacket to me. I did reach out to both, and those two companies were kind enough. I've got these Outdoor Research Polartec gloves. I like those when it's, you know, when it's very chilly, and even if they're wet, they're still warm and there's no linings to them or anything like that, but I never needed them this trip. That's my first aid kit. That's obviously the drone. Waste management, all my rubbish goes in here. I carry my toilet paper in here, so I use that for my waste. And then because there's like two sections to it, I can put my toilet paper in. Used toilet paper just goes inside like you know, an empty wrapper or something like that. You just take it home with you and dispose of it. This is an old Rab fleece, hooded fleece, and that's I must admit, served me well over the years. Snow and Rock liner socks to go under the sealskin socks if necessary. I've got a 1 to 50,000 map here, a lock sack, and that got soaked yesterday. and it's kept the map completely dry, so that's done well. It's my first aid kit, earplugs, link below, and this pillow, this Sea to Summit pillow, this pillow has done very well so far. I've not, you know, it's super lightweight. I don't know what, 70 grams or something, and I've not yet wrecked it, so that's good. And it's comfortable, it's soft, it's comfy, so very happy with that. Smart Wool socks, which have done, you know, they're old faithfuls really. I do like Smart Wool. The beanie I like to wear at night, which you haven't been able to get in a very long time, is Chockfish mountain equipment trousers. They work very well. And as I say, obviously sealskins for around camp. Innovate shoes, which I can't talk highly enough of. They've got more grip than I've got bottle. They can do far more than I can do them justice. Icebreaker leggings, and I think this is a Rab, you know, long sleeve zipped top, which I basically really wear for night time, because I've got two options. I brought a Rab t-shirt Cocoa, and this top, which I think is a Rab, and it's also like Cocoa or whatever they're doing now to help reduce smell and that type of thing. So because I wasn't sure on temperatures, I brought a t-shirt and the long sleeve, so effectively I'd have one to wear under my shirt by day, but I was guaranteed that with my down jacket I'd have one dry base layer for night, so that's why I brought those. And then obviously the cooking system is the Trail Design Sidewinder, fitted for the 600 Avenue pot, and that's like 10 years old now and is amazing. An Esbit titanium spoon, two old Platypus 2 litre water bottles. They've done brilliantly. I brought Mosquito Milk, which is quite heavy because it's literally, that is a glass jar, and that has a very, very high reputation in Africa and places where there are mosquitoes. But the Scottish midge, it wasn't as effective as I was hoping against midges. So if you're going to Africa or somewhere where there are killer mosquitoes, then do your research, look up Mosquito Milk, and it's like 4.9 out of 5. It has a phenomenal reputation. Obviously you've got the GoPro camera. I use two phones. One is my primary phone, one I use for just watching films and video, and you know, I use for some filming. I brought these power packs. I haven't used as much power this trip. Link on Amazon, they're about 330 grams. Torch, which obviously I've not really needed very much this trip at all. Petzl Core Light. The Kestrel 5500, I've got a video on that somewhere, that's excellent. I don't trust Chinese knockoff weather stations. If you want proper accuracy, get a Kestrel, because they're used by scientists and they're properly tested. And obviously the mountain roller designs, Trailstar I used. I would recommend you go for the seal nylon or the seal poly one, which they're changing to, and I just used that as a bum bag, mountain roller designs bum bag, but I don't think they make that one anymore. And then that all fits inside the MLD Exodus DCF rucksack. This is a Cuban fiber ground sheet. This is probably, and actually this is a newer one, this one, isn't it? But I've been using Cuban fiber ground sheets for years, and as long as you're careful with them, I've not had a problem with them. They do the job. and I've not had any noticeable problems. And pacer poles, walking poles, pacer poles. I like pacer poles a lot. You know, the usual Joe out there doing videos never mentions pacer poles, but pacer poles are probably the best poles that you can get. I hope you found that video helpful and informative, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching.